Well, usually this starts recording like 10 seconds before I even know it's on. So, what's up, Copy Squad? It's your boy Kyle Milligan coming to you live from Boca Raton, Florida. And today I want to talk about the order of copywriting. Basically, going from like a premise or concept or like product coming out of this fuzzy cloud of things, right? And turning that into I would say tangible, but things that you can write about. Basically, how do you go from like this, like where do you start? What's the copywriting process? The order of the process to go from nothing to, okay, I have what I need to write a promo. And a lot of this kind of comes from this book I read called Ready, Fire, Aim, 0 to 100 million in no time flat by Michael Masterson. So parts of this are going to come from my personal experience and that book. And basically, the reason I decided to do this video today was because as a copywriter, let me explain something. As a copywriter, sometimes you'll be tasked. You'll have the chore of essentially creating the product for your client or whoever you're writing. And let me explain what I mean by creating the product for them. You're just supposed to be writing the marketing material, right? You're just supposed to be, promoting it or writing something salesy that'll make people want to buy the product, yes? Well, sometimes yes and sometimes no. Sometimes you'll have a product where there isn't necessarily a USP, a unique selling proposition. Well, there's always a USP. You got to find it and dig it up. And a lot of times, or sometimes, there could be someone trying to get you to sell something that is just like a bunch of stuff. And as a copywriter, you're sitting there looking at like, well, why would anyone pay for this? And that's like the question that you have to solve. And once you solve it, you have to turn it into a promotion, sales letter, email sequence, whatever you want to do. And that's something that I realize that I've been involved in those conversations, but I never really thought of it as, sometimes, I might gripe or something and just be like, man, I got to do everything, right? As a copywriter, you kind of do, because you got to help in this product creation, you got to help in the writing the promo, and you got to help in marketing that promo, and you got to understand the whole thing of it. So being a copywriter, another reason it pays so well is because you have to have a bunch of skill sets. Hammerpedia says, howdy, what's up, man? So let me kind of explain what I mean by that. Sometimes when you're looking at a product, you have to kind of find and isolate some weird, super deep USP thing, or you have to kind of create the USP. And you can do that by kind of looking at, say, and financial is really easy. Like, what's the options trading service, right? So an options trading service is like, it's like trading stocks, but options are like higher leverage, more sophisticated instruments, right? And so it's just, let's say it's stock picking service. So one stock picking service, you're picking stocks, and you can say, yeah, well, we're different because we pick in this market, or yeah, we're different because of this or this or this. But it's all kind of like the same thing. We have to get more creative with it in a sea of other stock picking services. So as a copywriter, you kind of have to create some sort of unique element sometimes, where you might say, yeah, well, what if we only trade at 9:51 a.m. because of a unique window that opens in the markets or something like that. So that's creating a USP. And then the client or the product maker or whatever, he might have to kind of conform, like mend the product or mold it to that sort of copywriting strategy where you can make it unique. So what's really important is, in order to get someone to whip out their wallet and pay for something, you've got to start with the USP. And the USP will lead to the big idea and the big promise and the sales process, your promotion or email sequence or whatever it is. So what I'd like to do is kind of go over this with you a little bit. Let me switch to, what button would it be? Would it be this one? Okay, so we'll do this, and I'll select Sketchpad and kind of show you what it is that I mean. So we're looking at, am I even on this thing anymore? I mean, can you see me? Let me move this. Can I move this and not get in trouble? Yeah, no one's going to see anything sensitive. All right, cool. So this is the kind of stuff that I would help you with if you were a member of the Copy Squad Inner Circle, which I should have pitched. It's up there in the right-hand corner, copywriter.com/squad. But this is kind of stuff we would go into one-on-one. So here's kind of the process you want to know. It's USP, unique selling proposition. You figure out what your product has or can offer that is unique. And it should be kind of based around some sort of result or something that you can produce, right? And that's going to lead you to your big idea, and that's going to lead you to your big promise, and that's going to lead you to your sales, let's just say promotion, right? Whatever your marketing thing is, however you're going to run that. Okay, so let's start with USP, and I've got notes to make sure that, man, can I open this without getting in trouble? I don't know what I can even open anymore. Okay, I can open this. It's not on there. All right, cool. So here, I've got some notes over here to help me keep on top of what I want to say. So anyway, to the USP, and I'll kind of speak a little bit about like how this would relate to me. So for instance, we've got Kyle the writer, or the Copy Squad Inner Circle. I think like Take Their Money, my book. We'll start with my book. So Take Their Money has a USP, and well, dang it, I keep turning this off. I need to stop doing that. All right, I'm just going to have to not be able to look at comments for a little bit. So let's talk about Take Their Money and talk about its USP. So Take Their Money is my copywriting book. There are tons, dozens, probably bazillions of copywriting books out there in the market. So why would anyone buy my copywriting book? Like, what is it about me that's different? Well, I actually talk about, instead of, I don't just talk about what to write. That's the thing. I'm not a fan of that. It's not a marketing gimmick. I'm actually not a fan. Not what to write. Okay, so in a way, that's my start. But let's talk about as a USP. You'd say something like, "I'm the only guy targeting emotions." Like, I don't start with the words. I start with the emotions, right? So there's my USP. I'm the only dude who's targeting what emotions that you need to communicate to, right? So it's kind of like, dang it, I keep doing this. So with there, I have to figure out a better system for this. This is the first time I tried to use the sketch pad while doing a video, and I can already tell that it's not as smooth as I was hoping it would be. All right, so my USP, or the USP for Take Their Money, or for Kyle Milligan, however you want to put it, I'm the only dude targeting emotion specifically. Like, how many times have you seen a fill-in-the-blank sales promotion? Like, I will teach you to write better by just follow these templates, or follow this formula, or follow... No, I'm saying, dude, just target these emotions. So it's a completely different sort of angle. So when we're talking about what emotions to target, well, the way we do that is through communicating with emotions, not writing, right? So the big idea comes out as copywriting is a language, right? I've kind of based my whole thing around that. It's not a how-to, it's a language. You speak it. Shoot. Yeah, this isn't working like I wanted to give this sketch pad a try, and it's not working the way I wanted it to. Okay, so it's not a how-to. Copywriting is a language. That's kind of my big idea, and it started with this fact that I'm saying we need to communicate to emotions, not sit and piddle down about what we should write or what blanks we need to fill in. We need to think about the customer's emotions, their emotional state, and how we can trigger those things. And I picked 4. There's 4 specific emotions you've got to get down with. New, easy, safe, and big. Wrote a whole book about that. So my big idea is copywriting is a language, all right? So what's the big promise? So we know I'm the only dude targeting the emotions, so my big idea is, well, what if we talk about it as a language instead of a how-to? So the language of copywriting is sort of like the big idea, right? So how do we turn that into a promise? Well, it's simple. I don't even know if I want to write this in there. So for emotions equals speak copywriting, okay? So that's like my big promise. If you understood just these 4 emotions, very simple. If you understand just these 4 simple emotions, then you can speak the language of copywriting, right? You don't have to memorize formulas, templates, how-tos. You don't do any of that stuff. Just figure out, just understand, just comprehend these 4 emotions, new, easy, safe, and big, and then you can just speak copy. You don't have to, like, things will just, like, the floodgates of money will just open up, and you'll be in paradise. Like, it'll just be like heaven's doors flew open for you, okay? All right, so then from there, now you can begin the sales promotion. And these lives are kind of becoming more and more off the cuff because it's really easy for me just to hit the go live button, and I find a lot less resistance when I can just go live and ramble, and hopefully you guys will tolerate that. Hopefully you'll permit me to keep doing this because I don't want to take the time to really plan these out because, you know, I got other stuff going on. So the point I'm trying to make is I wanted to show you, like, basically I couldn't just sit down and write a sales promotion, right? It had to kind of come through like this journey of like discovery from like, okay, well, what makes me different? The USP. That's like your first and foremost, because we've talked about this, the new emotion, right? New, easy, safe, and big. The new emotion is you have to be different. If you're not different, there is no reason to pay attention to you because you're solving a problem that has probably been attempted to be solved before. So if you can't establish that you're new, then that's it. You're dead in the water right out of the gate. So that's why new is number one in the big four emotions. So the first thing I had to do is, well, what's different about me? Well, I can make copywriting really simple. I think that I'm really good at explaining things. I've got all this experience from working at Agora Financial. I've worked with some of the best marketers in the world. I've got world-class mentorship and that kind of stuff. I also started off with zero copywriting experience, was able to produce $7.1 million in sales with this strategy. So those are all kind of like facts, right? I just list all the facts. Like this is a features benefits thing. Okay, well, of all those things, like what's like the most like unique thing that I do? Well, if you've watched me mark up the promotions, I say, okay, well, he's targeting this emotion, he's targeting this emotion, targeting this emotion. So when I'm marking up sales letters, I'm looking for that. I'm reading between the lines. I'm like, oh, I'm the only dude really doing that I've noticed. Everyone else kind of just explains like what's happening and how to. I'm the only one saying target this emotion. So, okay, I'm gonna take that because it's like the only thing that I see that's really different. All right, and now I have to turn that into some sort of big idea. Well, the big idea came out of this place of like I say it's not what you say, it's what you communicate. I'm like almost anti-template, anti-how-to, anti-do this, do that. I'm more about communication and just making sure you nail those emotions, right? So, okay, well, what is communication? So from the USP that I'm targeting emotions to communicate, we come up with this big idea that, oh, well, copywriting is the secret language of sales. It's the secret language, and this is, if you go to copywriter.com/book, that's my sales letter. It's completely based on this big idea. Well, what's the big promise? Once you master the secret language of sales, like the big promise is embedded in my big idea. Copywriting is a language. Speak the language, you can speak copy. And we all know if you speak copy, you make millions and billions of dollars, okay? So that's what led to the sales letter itself. So this is kind of like the process. People always wonder, like, where do I start? What do I do? Et cetera, et cetera. And I do say this from like experience on, I got this bulleted format from that book, Ready, Fire, Aim by Michael Masterson. But I've been doing this without realizing I'm doing it for all sorts of work. And a lot of times when you're working with someone, you have to put in more work than just sit down and write the sales promotion. You might have to craft a USP. You might have to, if you can't dig one out, you might have to ask them to kind of tweak what they're doing, their product or service or something, and or again, if it's a physical product, you might have to just dig it out and just find something like, I'll tell you the story about the fire alarm. I think it was Joseph Sugarman wrote a piece of copy about a fire alarm, said we use gold-plated conductors for like maximum efficiency. And the guy said, but every one of the fire alarms in the world use gold-plated conductors. And Joe Sugarman says, no, nobody talks about it. So that is your USP now, okay? So once you dig that out, then you can kind of come up with this big idea, which can lead to some sort of promise, which has to be based in some sort of result. And then that lends itself to eventually becoming a sales promotion. So what I want to do is go ahead and switch back to, is this the right one? Okay, cool. So now we're back to this. I hope that was tolerable. I wanted to use that whiteboard thing, and it just sucked. It didn't work at all. Every time I clicked something, it would disappear. I think it's because it's supposed to be for that pen thing. All right. Gray Matter says, hey, Gray Matter says, I bought your book because of Alex Becker. Yeah, that was a really solid shout out. I was really excited about that. I saved that on my phone forever. Someday I'm going to show people like I was really cool once. Like if I end up just stop doing YouTube or something, like no, here's proof I was important. All right, Rada says, hey Kyle, new subscriber from Tlemcen, Algeria. Pretty stoked to be present on my first live with you. Dude, I'm stoked to have you. Thanks so much. David says, thank you, Kyle. The difference between USP, big idea, big promise, mechanism, etc. confuses me to no end. Dude, I get this question so much about like what is what. Basically like trying to give terms and labels to certain things, and I try, like I don't want people to get bogged down in the labels, but I do find, just like the big four emotions, when we can put labels to stuff like this, it will help us better understand and approach it. and sometimes you can have like the curse of knowledge, right? Where you're just like, don't worry about labels, don't worry about the terms, just do it. It's too easy for someone to say who's got experience when someone new is trying to figure out some way to make order of all this chaos. So I do hope that that little demonstration of like just running through it like that, understand that you have to have a unique selling proposition. I think that's really vitally important. And I kind of had a meeting today where that, and again, this is just pertinent in my world right now. I had a meeting today where we had all these, features, like a bulleted list of features. Buy this product and you'll get this, you'll get this, you'll get this, you'll get that. And I'm like, okay, this isn't just a features and benefits conversation. This is more of like, okay, we've got features listed in a bullet format. Now we got to pry out all the benefits of these features, right? And then with that, like, well, which one of these is unique? Like, what is it that we do? What is the one result that we can write a promo on? Because we always talk about this, the big idea, the golden thread, the rule of one, all that kind of stuff always comes up. Again, this is stuff I coach people on inside the Copy Squad Inner Circle if you want some personal one-on-one stuff. Oh, someone asked me about that. Right now, it's not hundreds and hundreds of members. It's like dozens. So, and not everybody shows up to every conference call. So if you want like one-on-one time, just come up to our Tuesday conference calls. So I think next Tuesday is another conference call, and you just tune in and bring your copy and ask me questions, and I give you like real, actually hands-on feedback. That's why I'm not doing it on the YouTube channel, because there are people who pay for that service, Copy Squad Inner Circle. So what we were dealing with today was we had this bulleted list of features of things that you get with this product, and we had to sit down, and it was kind of like, as a copywriter, like they're like, what's our USP? And I have to kind of figure it out. I think that's really important too. As a copywriter, you've gotta be good. You've kind of got to be good at like everything marketing, right? You might even have to kind of invent the product, so to speak, right? The guy who decided that the South Beach diet wasn't the modified carbohydrate diet, right? He probably had to come up with that, or that P90X wasn't just like the dumbbells routine or whatever. So you kind of almost have to invent the product that is the real product within the product. And you got to do that by isolating the unique thing and then going from unique thing to the big idea behind that. Like, how would you express that unique thing? And for us, we went from, I'm the only guy talking about targeting emotions, like communicating directly with emotions. I turned that into copywriting as a language. And from copywriting as a language, I say, well, just learn these 4 things and you can speak a language that makes you money, right? So that's all I've got for today. I really appreciate everyone tuning in. I used to do these lives on Facebook, and I'm seeing a lot better turnout, engagement, and success with YouTube. So I might just stick with YouTube ongoing. I think one of the things too is when I was doing it on Facebook, this was back when I had like 100 people who liked my page, and on YouTube I've got like over 1,000 people subscribed now. So that probably has to do with the turnout too. But anyway, I think if you want one-on-one feedback, Copy Squad Inner Circle is the place to do it. I would love to help you out with pretty much anything from start to finish of creating a sales promotion, working. I can't say much about getting clients. People ask me that all the time, and I try to stay away from that. I've never gone around and pitched clients and done cold emailing or anything like that. It's not been part of my career, so I don't try to give too much advice on that. But I have written a lot of sales letters. I've read a lot of sales copy. I've got trainings in there. I've got sales letter breakdowns, and you can get access to me. That's it. Thanks so much for tuning in. I appreciate all of you for stopping by. Peace out. Copy Squad.